Welcome. We're live. It's MCU Mondays. Well, it's Monday, and now this is MCU Monday. I'm your host, Chris. I'm here, as always, with my co-host, Debbie. Debbie, how are you today?
Hello, pulpits. I'm good. It's Monday. Tomorrow I have the day off, so.
Good deal. I had today off. I was playing some Jedi Fallen Order. David saw. He joined me in the chat there for a minute. Yeah. And then my game glitched out at the end, and I was like, oh, screw this. To get ready for MCU Mondays anyway. Where we also have a special guest here tonight, John, down there below me. John, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And you're a new member of the Geek News Now team, is that?
Yeah. I've put out, I think, 2 pieces so far. I put out one on the DCEU, and yesterday I published something about how Boba Fett should have been the main character of The Mandalorian as opposed to the actual Mandalorian. So, nice. Yeah, I've got 2 things under my belt right now, and it's been a good experience. You know, it's a good team to work with, so I'm having a good time.
Well, I'm glad to hear it, and we're glad to have you here on the ever-expanding, growing Geek News Now team. And we're glad you could be on this show tonight to talk about the MCU on MCU Mondays. We're going to start off talking a little bit about some Doctor Strange, because that is coming out this week. It's finally here. So we're going to talk a little bit about Doctor Strange, and then we're going to talk all about Moon Knight, because we got episode 5 of Moon Knight to recap, to discuss. And so also coming out this week is the season finale of Moon Knight. This is a packed week for MCU. Next Monday's show is probably going to go like 2 hours at least. So we have a season finale to talk about and the entire multiverse of madness to talk about. It's going to be huge. So, but for today, that's what we're looking at today. Let's get started with our theme song.
Theme song guy.
Oh yeah!
Yes, here we are. Very great episode. Very interesting episode. I'm very excited to talk about that Moon Knight for sure. Even though, again, not enough actual Moon Knight in the episode, but we'll get there. Doctor Strange. Now, we've had the previews coming out for Doctor Strange for a while. It got pushed back. Initially, I think it was supposed to come out
February, and
then it got pushed back to May. It's going to be May. And it is now May, so that's coming out this week. And so they've been releasing trailers. And if you've been watching the trailers when they first came out with the first one, there's tons of speculation. Have you guys seen the newest trailers? Because
I'm taking a page out of Debbie's book on this one, and I am avoiding trailers.
Well, you might want
I saw the trailers. I've been avoiding the TV spot.
Plug your ears, because I'm about to talk about that stuff, David.
I've seen bits and pieces only because I'm trying to scroll as fast as I can because, social media team. But I've seen some things, and I'm like, are they leaving any surprises? Or
the thing that I'm thinking is, if we're seeing this much, then how much more have they not even let us know that's happening?
Or is it even going to be in the movie? Because, they've done that before.
Yeah.
Well, there's some pretty big things that they just showed that if they aren't now in the movie, people are going to riot. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure. And I'm about to show it, guys. If you don't want to see or hear this, okay, just know that it's happening. Because we had one of these. We had Captain Britain wearing a jetpack fighting Wanda. It seems like everyone's fighting. Wanda's fighting everyone, so she's going nuts.
It's Wanda against the world.
But that pretty much confirms Captain Britain, and her wearing a jetpack, that's reminiscent of in the What If she was working with the Hydra Stomper. So I don't know. Cool. Interesting little thing. She gets a jetpack. Why didn't Cap ever have a jetpack? Would probably come in handy. He can't fly. This is the same guy who tried to choke out Ultron, though. So That is a robot. That is.
You can't cook a robot.
No windpipe.
So there was a lot of speculation on who would be in the Illuminati, and yeah, right. They said the Illuminati wishes to see you in the. So they've confirmed that as well.
That.
Yeah. And of course, we were wondering if that was indeed Patrick Stewart, Charles Xavier, Professor X, and we heard his voice, we saw the back of his shiny head, but people weren't quite sure. He denied it and then flip-flopped on it. But now we got this, and that
hover car from the 90s comics,
the classic yellow hover chair that he was in. So, I mean,
somebody put out on social media the other day that Patrick Stewart won't be in it. It will be it'll be the McAvoy, and Patrick Stewart will be in it, but he'll be in as Phil Boner, Ralph Boner's father.
Ridiculous. We riot if they try and pull something like that. Will not stand for it. That's the patented Ralph Boner alert. So yeah, that would be just terrible. But they've released those things, so I'm thinking, what else is in this? What else are we gonna see? There's probably so many more things. We know they cast Namor, so there's a possibility Namor's been on the Illuminati before. People are saying Reed Richards, since they're talking about the Fantastic Four. I mean, the latest news on Fantastic Four is that the director dropped out, but it's still happening.
They just got to get a new director.
I don't understand why they can't get things right with that movie. We're on the 6th one? 7 if you include Corman.
It's been rebooted, and rebooted and redone, and
they just cannot get that right. I don't understand. Which
is interesting because they're like a pretty popular, or they used to be, since the movies have kind of done damage to their reputation. But Fantastic Four used to be like,
that was the first Marvel family.
Yeah, like they're a big deal.
Yeah.
What I don't understand about it is you have over 50, 60 years at this point of pretty much drawn out storyboards that you can just go by and put onto film. Why did you need to make Galactus a giant smoke cloud? Why? What was the purpose of that?
Whose idea was this?
What were you thinking? I just don't understand. Sometimes, and this is where I hope Disney will get it right with them, less is just more, and just stick to the source material. And they're starting to do that more with their stuff, and I'm hoping the trend continues going into something like Fantastic.
Well, that's the thing. You would hope. There's two schools of thought. Like, here, hey, we bought this intellectual property so that we can make money off of it. But if you want to make money off of it, you shouldn't also change the thing itself in huge ways. Like, oh, well, we bought it, we could do whatever we want with it. Well, people aren't going to keep shelling out money for it if you change it from the thing they actually enjoyed. Stick to what they want, like what they have invested in, what it's supposed to be. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think what's happening is what people are taking a cue from what happened with Netflix and what Netflix did with those properties. And they're saying, hey, the fans are starting to just not show up anymore. The fans balked at He-Man, they balked at She-Ra, they balked at Cowboy Bebop. And I think the people that own these properties now are saying, we should just stick to the source material because people aren't having it anymore. There are too many options out there.
I enjoyed the He-Man reboot.
A lot of people didn't. I wasn't really a He-Man fan, but a lot of people didn't. And Kevin Smith really just thumbed his nose at the fans with that one and did it's my project. I can do what I want with it. And a lot of people just were not happy with that.
Yeah.
And I think that, Disney, if nothing else, love them or hate them, they're a smart company. And I think they're sitting up in the office right now and they're saying, hey, let's stick to the source material because these guys are just, there's too many options and we can't mess around with our stuff.
And that's what made these things popular in the first place is that source material. And it's not like Star Wars where the source material is movie. The source material in this case is comics. So this hasn't been done. Like, you can't, when you make a new Star Wars movie, obviously it's based off like the original movies and everything that's come in between. But with some of this comic stuff, it's like it's never been made a movie before. There's stuff you can draw from that's never been on the big screen. Why not just do it as much as you can true to the source material, which again is why a lot of people are going to see it. I mean, now Marvel Studios has a big name built into it. People kind of understand what they're going to see when they see a Marvel movie, but you still have a lot of people that are there because they're fans of the comics and they want to see the things that they read and enjoyed for all those years come to life in a new way. And real quick, Vase, sorry to butt in. I'm Vase. Your still game reactions give me life. Thanks. Thank you. And you're welcome. And it's a fantastic show, Scottish show, Still Game. I think it's on Netflix now if anyone is interested in watching it. You don't have to watch me react to it. I'm glad that some people like to do that, but I just watch it the regular way myself. So yeah, good times. Thanks for stopping by. So yeah, and Multiverse of Madness is gonna really probably answer a lot of questions people are having about the MCU, like what's happening going forward. It looks like we're gonna get introduced to the X-Men in some fashion, so we might have an idea of how they're going to do that going forward. There might be Fantastic Four stuff happening. I mean, Victor Von Doom was teased in Moon Knight on those crates in the back of the cupcake truck. They were like Von Doom Industries. So they're getting much closer to that kind of stuff actually happening. We're in the Easter egg phase. It's time for actual cameo phase at least. And I mean, what better places to do some cameos than Multiverse of Madness?
They had the opportunity in WandaVision though.
Yeah, but
my friend who's an aerospace engineer or whatever.
Oh yeah, and that was a big letdown.
Yeah,
it was such a big letdown.
Who was it? I don't know. It was just somebody.
Yeah, just some shit. It's like Dr.
It'll probably be referred to somewhere down the line. They'll say, "Oh yeah, I was the one who came up with the idea, at Westview." Blah blah blah.
It'd be even worse if she had been like, "It might be a stretch, but I've got a friend." It's gotta be him. Nope, boner alert. So where's that, by the way? There we go. Yeah, so Multiverse of Madness coming out this week. Can't wait to talk about it next week when we've actually seen it. We can confirm theories and see what direction they're going. It's very exciting stuff. Also happening later this week is the last episode of Moon Knight. And we're here to talk about this episode of Moon Knight, the 5th episode, which is pretty crazy emotionally.
Yeah. Gut wrenching.
Oh.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah.
The bad thing about this was I knew where it was going as far as the revelation of where Steven came from. And I was like, okay, this is how this is going to happen. And this is how it's setting up. And even when it happened, I was still like, I mean,
yeah,
that's how good it is. That's how good this episode was.
I think the show was done great, and I really do think in the 6th episode, with the way it's going, do we do spoilers here? We're talking about the episode, or
you can make predictions.
Okay, I just with him being in the Field of Reeds and going into the last episode, and Doctor Strange coming out this week. Is there going to be some shenanigans with Doctor Strange getting him back to get to Harrow, or are they going to try to pull that out since they missed the mark with WandaVision? Or are they? Do you think that might happen?
Do we get a post credit scene with Doctor Strange? Maybe
get a post credit scene with Doctor Strange.
I don't know, but I heard a rumor theory, whatever you want to call it, that Nightmare was behind everything, and I was just like,
you just love
that wasn't me. That wasn't me. That was the interwebs. I know it's crazy shit, but that was not me.
Someone's just out there going, I bet Nightmare's behind this every single thing until they get it right, and then they're going to be like, see, called it.
Kind of like me with Mephisto.
A million times.
Mephisto confirmed.
Other people have theorized that we'll see Gore, the God Killer, at the end of this, since that would tie it into Thor, and there are a bunch of gods locked up in little statues. So why not eat some of them? I don't know. It seems.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good finale. I don't think it's gonna be a letdown. I think it's gonna be a really good finale, and there's a lot of things that can happen because I've been reading Moon Knight for a long time, and they have left a lot of stuff out. That's not a bad thing if they're going to go multiple seasons. So they're still missing Frenchie Duchamp, and they changed some things around. You don't even know what exactly is real because in the comic, Harrow was a war criminal. So you don't know if they're actually going to bring that up in the show and if it's still all just an illusion. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how it ends because they've been loyal to the source material with it. They changed a couple things, but nothing was really that bad. And I think it's going to be a really – I don't think anybody's going to be disappointed that it's like this show so far.
I think the biggest complaint of the series that I've seen so far, including this episode, is lack of actual Moon Knight doing typical superhero stuff. This show is not your typical superhero, but not any of the shows really, other than maybe Falcon and Winter Soldier, have been that sort of thing. Loki was like a sci-fi detective mystery type. WandaVision, it was kind of like a psychological.
You didn't really get into the superhero part of WandaVision until like the third or fourth episode,
and that was just in the finale, really, where they actually had like a fight. But and then this one, I mean, he's had a couple scenes where he was doing stuff as Moon Knight, but mostly it's been like a character study of the person behind the mask, like finding out who this person is, the personalities meeting, and he has a whole nother personality that we haven't even.
Oh, yes, we have.
I was going to say, I think I'm calling that because when they were on the boat, when they first got on the boat, he opened the sarcophagus and Steven was in the sarcophagus. They passed another room and there was another sarcophagus, but they didn't open it.
Yeah.
I'll bet that's our.
That's what everyone's saying, and people were hoping that he was going to be this episode, but.
Yes, he was.
Sorry.
In Harrow's office. After they've had flashbacks and then he comes back to Harrow's office. He's wearing a Band-Aid.
Like he's busted.
Good
His
pull.
accent is different. It almost sounds like a Boston accent, but totally different. That's Jake.
But and something else too. I think it was like 2 episodes ago where they were flashing back and forth between the two, and he had the bloody knife and he had killed people, and they're like, "What did you do? I didn't do this." Mm-hmm. So I'm guessing we're gonna see Jake in the finale.
Yeah, that I think Jake only comes out when possibly Mark or Steven's life is really threatened and they need somebody. I mean, in the comics, he's like a brawler. They might be making him like an assassin or something in this show. So, because he only comes out when things are threatening. So, but that was Jake.
Mark is a secret agent or a mercenary.
Mercenary.
How's he more threatening than
I think this guy is more deadly. I think Jake is more
the cab driver. The cab driver is more deadly than the special
operative.
I don't know.
They haven't said anything about him being a cab driver so far. I mean, they changed Stephen Grant. Stephen Grant was a millionaire.
Exactly.
And in this one, he's a.
I don't know. How does he afford his apartment?
Mark probably takes care of it.
Yeah. From all of it. Bags of cash, currency.
Well, going back to the lack of use of the costume too, people need to. They don't need to. They can watch it however they want to. I hate saying people need to realize, but that is how the comic was as well. A lot of the comics were about Mark Spector. They were not about Moon Knight. So if you're pulling from the source material, you're going to pull a lot of stories that are about the actual personalities, and unless he's with the Avengers, half the book is going to be about whichever personality Moon Knight is at any given time. So the show is, like I said, staying very close to the source material in putting that on screen and not overdoing it with the action.
Yeah, that's the complaint I've seen. Like I say, I've been a fan of it for the most part. I think it would be cool to see more of that Moon Knight stuff, just because it was cool when he was jumping over the bill, and I want to see more of like what his suit can do, because he can just pull random stuff out of it, make it look different. That's stuff that I find intriguing. I would like to see more of it, but at the same time, I'm also really enjoying the kind of psychological aspects of it, who has control, when and why, and the switching by and not remembering things and having all these like questions. Reminds me a lot of Memento and Fight Club. Those two movies those are two of my favorite movies. So that angle of this all has been very enjoyable. But yeah, if you were going in expecting much more just straight up superhero type stuff, like, oh, there's a bad guy, let me put on the suit and fight the bad. This is going way deeper and he's dead now and he's on a ship to the afterworld and that, like what?
Yeah.
There's a lot going on, and he's
now he's in heaven though, right? He's
in the person. Well,
he's in the
Mark.
Mark
is Steven is apparently
in sand,
the sand of doom, and Jake is in the. What do we think? He's in the psych hospital or whatever.
He's still in.
And is that on the boat, or was that actually another place? Because it seemed like they were wake up in the hospital, but it also felt like.
Yeah, they're on the boat.
That also makes sense, though, because Harrow is really a doctor.
Get on the boat. So, is the banana boat? No, is the hippo boat. The hippo boat. The hippo boat.
That was a jarring moment, if I can say so myself. I've had a lot of experiences with a lot of substances, and I can't say that, like, if I opened the door and saw a hippo, that would freak me out.
Even if you were used to hanging out with a dead skull crow person,
because even more so, because you know what the hippo represented.
Fertility?
Or
death by snoo.
Ripping your heart out and telling you to go relive traumatic experiences.
That was dark.
The dubsteps are pussies. You're so dark. You sure you're not from the DC universe? I love dubstep.
There's something hinky about Tourette. Because this whole thing is not, at least for me, making any sense. Why is she there? And why is she the one that's by the scales doing the balance thing?
She had
he explained that. He said, "Oh, she's the god of the
Exactly, but it's Anubis boat. Anubis.
No, it was
scales, not her.
Gate.
She doesn't do it. It's supposed to be Anubis, and I'm like, where the hell's Anubis?
How is Anubis the only one with scales? No one else can have scales. Pretty sure they were pretty common back in the day. Still are.
Well,
she can have her own scales.
The scale is actually Anubis. That's who's on the scale.
Then there he is. He is the scale. He's going like this.
Character.
Or the whole situation could just be a metaphor from whatever the doctor was sticking him with. It could be the medication.
Did you drug me? Oh, we don't do that. I love that. I love that line because he's like, "Oh, we don't do that unless people really get out of hand." I was just like, "You mean like this guy, the violent, crazy guy that you just jabbed a needle into? Oh, we don't do that except when we do." What? Let's see. Matt said the whole show confuses me. Stop making me think, Marvel. Yeah. I came here to see some fisticuffs between two muscled gentlemen in costumes. Just go watch wrestling if that's all you're looking for. Lots of Egyptian gods use scales imagery. Anubis is just the most famous. What would you know? Aren't you just some sort of history teacher? All right. Hold on. Take it back. Take it. Okay. Let's see. When the sexy hippo showed up, I gave up. So she's thick. She has a certain thickness to her. It's that hippo hide. It's very tough, thick hide. Very territorial hippos, so look out. If you see a hippo, look out. They can be very aggressive. And if you've ever seen one eat a watermelon, that could be your head. So just here we go. Absolutely. So she had the scale. I thought what was weird was that she only put the 2 hearts on the scale. I thought maybe some point during this is when we'll see Jake and it's not balanced because you have a whole nother heart that needs to go on there. But they were just like, nah. And then there's this, forget about it. Well, so we'll just go with the 2. And then Steven falls off the boat and gets frozen in sand, and the scales are like, perfect. Good.
That's kind of why I think it's Harrow doing it, and it's not actually real. Because what was the movie with Ray Liotta like 20 years ago where they were all in the motel and they were dying one by one, and it was the guy's personalities, and they were trying to kill off the personalities.
It was
Identity.
Awesome. Yeah.
Identity?
Yes. Identity. I'm pretty.
And
sure
it might be something like that where it's Harrow trying to eliminate the identities, but he doesn't realize that Jake's hanging around back there, and Harrow's going to think he knocked it out of the park, and then Jake's going to come back with a vengeance.
Well, I'm just wondering where also his physical body is. Like, is any of this actually reality, or is he going to wake up in the tomb, like in the water that he fell into? You know what I mean? Or is he going to, or did they literally transport him to some sort of psychiatric hospital? But Harrow doesn't even look the same. You know what I mean? That's why I'm thinking that's not actually just reality.
And Harrow didn't realize he was talking to Jake either.
Yeah, I don't think he even knows that Jake.
I don't think he knows about Jake, though, is what I was trying to say. I think he's trying to eliminate Steven and Mark, and then it's going to unleash Jake on him. You just made a big mistake. Mistake. Miss Jake. That's something else. I mean, it might happen. It's the show. The show's it's because I just rewatched the 5th episode because we were going to be discussing it, and I think they're deliberately. Sorry, I didn't mean to stutter. Deliberately trying to mislead and trying to make you question what in the show is in actuality and what in the show is fake. And they're doing a good job with it because it's got me guessing. It's got me really interested in how this is going to play out in the finale.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's definitely got me wondering again, like, what is real? How much, what layer is this happening on? Is it all happening? It's again, like Harry Potter, like, is this real or is it all just in my head? Well, of course it's all in your head. Why on earth should that mean that it isn't real? Cool. Thanks for answering my question.
Thor was the worst.
I'm glad you're dead, old man.
even in death, he couldn't give Harry a straight answer.
Yeah.
You're dead. I'm dead. You're dead. You know, we're at King's Cross, but I'm still gonna make you guess about it.
Hey, what was the purpose of life anyway?
Who knows? Probably some hogwash about the human spirit.
So yeah, they actually did a really good job of that in episode 4 as well, when you get our first look at that psychiatric hospital, and it's just got reference on reference on reference to everything that's happened so far: the goldfish, the cupcakes, the lady drawing the Khonshu bird. Yeah. So like everything's so it's like, is this just? And he's holding a little action figure of Moon Knight. It's definitely got me wondering what's going to happen.
The only reservation that I'll have with the show is, and it has nothing to do with Layla as a character. I like Layla as a character, I'll just be mildly upset if they have her replace Frenchie. I'd like for Frenchie to be in the show. He's a good character, and I'd like for them to give him a spot if they do a season 2.
So I don't know, actually, Moon Knight background. My area of expertise is the films and the shows and everything.
Frenchie is a pilot that worked with Layla and Mark.
Okay, was he like an extra? He was their third wheel? Or is Steven's the third wheel? So he's the fourth wheel. He's stabilized.
He was a real person. He was kind of like Microchip, but he could fight.
Oh, he could fight too.
Yeah.
Frenchie. They're probably worried about offending someone with that. Yeah. Luckily, it would just be the French. So.
I mean, he was in the show, and I think the second episode when he's scrolling through his phone as Mark Spector, he is in the missed calls list. So I think
it says Duchamp on there.
Yeah,
interesting. So they could be setting it up. I gotta think, since I've also heard that the next episode is supposed to be the shortest one. Which couldn't be not true. I'm not
45
sure.
45 minutes, I think.
45 minutes.
But I got to think that they're going to do another season or something else with this character. You know what I mean?
It's only supposed to be one, but if it's popular and Oscar's up to it, I mean, he's been doing a kick-ass job, acting 3 different characters.
Yeah, I would think he would want to keep doing it just because...
And I can't believe they would introduce this character and not have him somewhere down the line in the movies.
I can't see them because people like it. It's getting great reviews, and the production value, they definitely didn't skimp on it. I cannot see them doing a Netflix and scrapping this after 1 season. I just can't because it's getting a good return. They had every reason to dumb it down so that the casual viewer would be able to understand it, but they found a way to get the casual viewer to understand it without dumbing the story down. And they're doing a great job with it, and I would be shocked if it didn't come back for at least a second season.
Yeah, it's good to hear that the people that, have actually read the Moon Knight comics, that it's doing justice by that, because that's what I was wondering, like, I'm watching it, I'm enjoying it. I wonder if, and so it sounds like that they are doing justice by it. But I just feel like there's only 1 episode left. We've pretty much just met this character. He's just met himself. Like, he's now, like, he wasn't even fully Moon Knight, when we entered this whole thing. And now, like, so it would be interesting to see where they go from the rest of this. But I mean, he still has to free conscience. He still has to come back to life or whatever, because he's dead. He's dead right now. He's in heaven, but he's dead.
Dead.
And apparently, so like the bodies started falling.
Oh yeah,
on the boat ride, like the purple, and they said that's Harrow.
Yeah, because my thought on that is that up on Earth they have released Harrow, or on this plane of existence. Yes. And he's judging humanity at this point, and he's pulling a Thanos and wiping out half of everything.
Or, well, I mean, it seems like they're just going to end up wiping out everyone, because he explained the way that he does things. It's like, you judge people for what they might do. Yeah, that's just, if anyone could make a mistake, so yeah, let's just wipe out all of humanity. That's perfection.
I make it a rule not to really take the word of anybody who purposely puts broken glass in their shoes and walks around on it.
Yeah. This guy is your leader.
It's one of my unwritten rules. I didn't actually put it in any book, but it's there.
He is someone I'd like to go camping with because of a bear attacks. I know I can outrun this guy. Yeah. Way to put glass in your shoe. Now you're bleeding and limping, and there's the bear. And
he's just harnessing his inner Bruce Willis. That's all it is.
I guess you could try playing dead, but what if the bear's really hungry? Well, that is an amazing performance, but I am starving.
Oh, look, you were just sleeping.
So yeah, the guy puts glass in his shit. This is an unstable person, and he kills children. He's admitted that.
Well,
although now we can say so does Mark, but that was his brother, and it was an accident.
Yeah, because that is true to the character. He did. Trying to think. It's been a while since I read his character biography. He was in hiding because he was like a Mengele of sorts at a camp in World War II, and that was actually his real backstory. So the fact that he's not afraid to kill children is actually realistic to the character. So,
yikes. Creepy.
Yeah, I'd like to see where they're going with him.
And that's why I liked also that they had Harrow as the psychologist in this mental ward, because he's always the entire time he's like, I'm just trying to help you, like, ooh.
And
the whole time he's just like, oh yes, look at me speaking Chinese badly and like growing vegetables in my garden and having people watch Animal Planet. Now let me kill some children. Wait a minute, what?
And you know what? God bless Ethan Hawke because he's tearing it up. I mean, even as the Doctor, it was like, I hated him, but I didn't want to hate him because it was like, oh, he's trying to help him, but is he trying to help him? Or I mean, he's just or
are you trying to what are you doing?
What are you doing? What is the end game here?
What do you want out of this?
Are you trying to help like a doctor, or are you trying to help like the Italian mother who just guilt rides you all the way to hell? Yeah. Like how are you trying to help?
Mental manipulation. It's like, now I'm going to take on this tone of caring and that I'm here to help you, but what I'm actually doing is assassinating you psychologically. Doesn't that sound like fun? Go talk to Steven. Live out your most intense traumas. Show him the thing that he was created never to see. Is that helping? No?
Why are you not letting me help you?
Yeah, it was dark. So, and when Steven comes out back into the psychologist room and he's like, your mother's dead. And then he freaks out and he's like, no, she's not. And then he's like, fine, let me call her. And that whole scene, I was just like, rough.
I think Debbie and I called that on the first episode.
Mom's dead. Yeah, Mom's dead.
Woo! High five.
You never heard her. Later, Gator. Never heard her talk back. And so now Steven admits it. This was something that, Steven, the whole point of Steven was not to know that. And so now that's been broken. And so then he sees the whole thing with the cave and he tries to save his brother, but he can't because it's a memory. Duh. Very traumatic though. He didn't know that happened. Yeah. So he feels now responsible for his brother's death, just like Mark does. And then you just see the mother become,
oh my God, she was awful.
Just blaming him. It's like one of your sons is dead. You only have one left. Is that really what how you're gonna do it? Is just all of it out on him, which is exactly what she does. It's all your fault.
Yeah, she called him
you
a
let him go
human being, and she said, what else did she say? Yeah, that it was all you were jealous. You were always jealous of him, and I'm like, what the hell?
Right?
God.
And so that's like a ton of psychological abuse. That would be bad enough, but then
she really took it because I don't know. Have you ever seen the movie Walk the Line? Johnny Cash.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix.
I mean, at the beginning of that, when his brother died and the father had it, I mean, she took it to a whole other kind of level. I mean, it was like he went up to that line and he kind of tiptoed on it, and she went back to running leap.
Like he was drunk and abusive because of that, but and upset. She was like all of those things, and I'm gonna focus it like a spike at my son, who I place all of those negative emotions are because of him, and I'm gonna take it out on him with psychological abuse, telling him he's worthless and terrible. That's your mother, by the way. That's rough. And then she just starts, and that's the thing when he creates Steven, I was like, this is crazy. Although it was always weird to me I thought it was weird that like he creates Steven and then she comes in and I'm like, doesn't that mean that she just beat Steven? And isn't he not supposed to?
He's not supposed to
know about this, but it's so I was just like, maybe he switched back to Mark and he'll go back to being Steven and another. I don't know. It just seemed if he was never supposed to experience that, why did you turn into Steven and then get beat? It seems like.
I've got to say, for the day he had, Steven showed amazing composure. I mean, you got greeted at the door by a giant hippo. She ripped your heart out, told you were going to hell. You watched a little kid die, found out you weren't real, and then you died. Like, that's a day. And he was just like, yeah, I'm going to help.
You found out your mother's dead, and also she's not
you find out your mother's dead.
Not the lovely woman that you thought she was, that she actually beat on you and blamed you for the death of your brother. Like, yeah, it's a day. I'm constantly confused. I don't know what you're talking about. Confused all the time. I try to not watch this show. But yeah, this is like an extra dose of confusing. They're heaping layers of confusing. It's like a confusing lasagna. It's got layers, or an onion, or a cake. People like cakes. Anyway. It's definitely going to be interesting to see. And so, like you said, Steven had a day, and it kind of transformed him a little there by the end. He didn't just cower. He started kicking some butt. Mark was about to get thrown over the edge of the ship. Steven steps in, takes out some of those zombies.
And Steven kind of looked at it too. I mean, and I like this thinking. He was like, look, if I'm you, then I'm you. And I am me, and he are we, and we are all together.
Yeah, and he was beating the shit out of those sand people.
I prefer cricket. Cricket. Oh, yeah. Well, that's a bat, buddy, not a cricket bat. But yeah, and then so he ends up going over the edge, frozen in the. Which okay, so why did that balance the scales?
See, that's what throws me, because there was, I mean, you looked at Mark's life, and they went through a lot of and Mark had some dark times in his life. He was this mercenary, he was killing people. My theory is that Mark did not kill what's her name's dad, but Jake probably took over and killed her dad. That's just my thoughts. Oh, come on!
I thought
Why not?
It was the mercenaries that he was with. Yeah, right.
Bushman.
Okay.
Well, at least in the comics.
Yeah. You can change it for the show. Come on, Debbie. It's Mephisto.
But it does seem like they're.
I think it might be that it balanced because he let go of his past, and Steven was kind of his coping mechanism, and Steven,
But then that makes it seem like Steven will never come back.
Because the heart disappeared and it balanced out.
Well, Steven wouldn't.
Oh, the heart is still there.
I thought the heart.
I thought it left the scale. Okay.
Nope. Both hearts are still there.
Oh.
Which
so
made
it means,
no sense to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because it means Steven can't come back, but that also means that he's happy and he's in heaven now, even though he's like murdered all of these people and done all these horrible things. Happy,
and I don't think Steven will stay dead.
Yeah,
I don't think he will either. I mean, it's Marvel. Comic books bring characters back to life all the friggin' time. I mean, it doesn't. Marvel, DC, Image, it doesn't matter.
Literally have a character named Phoenix.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that from the ashes of captivity never has a greater Phoenix metaphor been personified in human history.
Wow, that was a great clip for that.
Thank you.
I'm gonna do this. Give me something here. You're like a sphinx. I can't read you.
Sphinx.
Oh, Sphinx. That was
reference Moon Knight. That's like Egyptian. Okay, nailed it. Correct. I wish I had a clip from Gladiator when he's walking through the field of wheat.
That's what I thought when he was in the field of reeds. I was like, oh my God, that's like Gladiator.
If you find yourself walking through a field of wheat and the sun is shining on your shoulder, well, then fear not, You are already dead.
Or Kevin Costner walking around confused in a cornfield.
If you build it, they will come.
So this is heaven. Yeah. Also, like it's like
Mark
there's nothing
Spector's
there.
just really in Iowa.
Superman flies over. Where was he from?
Kansas.
Or maybe James Tiberius Kirk. He was from Iowa, right?
Yes.
Boom! I'm not even a big Star Trek guy, but I remember that. Mostly because in Fanboys, they take a detour to Iowa to kick Trekkie butt. So I remember that. See, that's how you remember things. Random nonsense. But yeah, so I don't know. Anything else, guys, you want to talk about for that episode of Moon Knight?
I'm just going to throw a theory out there.
Mephisto?
No. I'm going to say that this whole sequence is not happening, and it's somebody else that's messing with Mark.
So did he get shot then?
I don't know, but
did Mark get shot?
I think something else is going on behind the scenes we don't know about.
Honestly, when he got shot and he fell back into that water, and you know that because they were in that the tomb and all this other stuff.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, he's gonna fall back into that water, and it's going to have some kind of mystical healing property, and he won't die. You know, he won't have been shot. He'll rise up out of this, and he'll be fine.
I was thinking something like that. Yeah.
But
or that someone will free Khonshu, and then Khonshu will.
It would have to be Layla.
Yeah. I was gonna say, where's Layla at?
But Khonshu even said, when they imprison me, tell Mark to free me. And it's like, he never did that, so.
My bad. Sorry about that, bud.
Whoops. I was thinking that I was going to stay in charge forever and sleep with our wife, but now I realize I need your help again. So. Whoops. All right. Whoops. It's my bad. All right. Let's see. Oh, no. Steven's Egyptology gave a lot of answers. So, no, he's still there. Gotta be. It's true. I mean, even Tarwet was like, oh, so he's the smart one. Mark never has any idea what's going on. He's usually just like, let's either run or I'll shoot it. That's
he's
those are the two things that I know how to do.
He's the
man of action. It's what the people want. They want more Moon Knight.
They want Michael Bay.
But now, in whatever year this is, the audience wants action and seats with beverage holders, but mainly action.
I think we'll see a lot of Moon Knight in this last episode because there's a lot of shit that's got to be taken care of, and
we need him.
I think
he's the hero we need.
I think I actually have a preview here of the next episode.
My God, is it possible?
It must be possible. It's happening. By the way, what's happening?
No idea.
I think Marvel was trying to prove a point, though, because for years he was called the poor man's Batman, and it always pissed Marvel off that he was being compared and being called the poor man's Batman. And I think if they just came in and gave him the suit and had him fighting crime, it would just further that.
He would be the poor man's Batman.
He would be the poor man's Batman. So I think they made a point by holding the suit back, and I think they're going to unleash it in the finale.
And plus, this is an origin story.
Yeah,
and you have to know the somewhat normal person before you
have to know the alter ego before you know the superhero.
Yeah, because in the comics, and I think you mentioned this last week or the week before, Chris, where we had the panels where each of the alters kind of, tells Khonshu, we don't need you.
Yeah, and then they crush his skull.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, we don't need you. I'm Mark. I'm Steven. I'm Jake. And we are Moon Knight. And then they crush his skull. So it's like,
what was the significance there at the beginning of the show where Steven's following the boys into the cave and he looks down and there's looks like a skeleton of Khonshu? What the hell was that about?
well, I think it was just a dead bird or a.
Looked like Khonshu to me.
Well, yeah, but he's has a bird head. So if it's a dead bird and he has a dead bird head, so that it would look like Khonshu.
Why were they going into the cave?
Oh, you're asking why would he see that as a child?
Right next to a huge steaming bowl of foreshadowing.
Boom.
Okay.
Knowledge bomb drop.
Foreshadowing.
Who are you? I'm Batman.
Oh, so Deadpool's
There's
the poor man's
Batman.
Is that a fanny pack? I used to have one of those in 1990. Never.
Retrieving something from my utility bag.
It's a goddamn fanny pack, and you know it, you sick son of a bitch. The difference is night and day.
That is the best scene.
I like it.
You remind me of my wife.
I'm sorry?
I said you remind me.
No, I'm sorry that you said that while making heavy eye contact and applying lip balm.
And since we were talking about hopefully seeing some more X-Men in Multiverse of Madness.
You think the studio would throw us a bone? They can't just dust off one of the famous X-Men? How about that Potts with the giant pigeon wings? What do those do anyway, huh? Carry him 3 feet off the ground to snatch up the nearest muffin crumb? No.
Muffin.
No. Snatch up the nearest muffin crumb.
I don't know what the better cameo is. Is that one or Chris Evans in Free Guy? I'm kind of tossed up.
What the shit?
Even to the music. Fantastic. All right, so I think that about covers it for this episode. I don't know how he's going to get out of heaven. You're in heaven. Why don't you just stay there? You made it to heaven.
Yeah,
just
be good.
Everything worked out okay for you. Who cares? Look inward. Take care of yourself. Yeah, I don't know. So he's going to try and get out of there, I assume. Do you think we'll actually... so, Debbie, you said we have seen Jake. Do you think we're going to be actually introduced to him in this next episode, the last episode?
I wouldn't be surprised. I think we will.
I'm hoping so.
What if they hold Jake for season 2?
Which they haven't even confirmed is going to happen. So that would... I don't know.
Yeah.
They didn't say Loki season 2 was going to happen until after.
Yeah, Marvel did a little blooper today, I guess on Twitter, because they were promoting the final episode, and at first they tweeted, "Be sure to something like be sure to watch the season finale of
not
Moon
the series finale."
But then, I don't know, there was 4 or 5 minutes, and then they put out the series the series finale. So they changed it real quick.
I mean, also, and this probably isn't the case, but I know in the UK, for instance, they don't call them seasons; they call them series. So it's series 1, series 2, series 3.
It's like Doctor Who, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what they use instead of seasons. So it could have been something like that, but it's an interest if they went so far as to change it from seasons to series, and that you might be right there. That could have been a gaffe, could have been a goof. No vibes about multiverse leak with Xavier and Strange. I mean, we did talk about that at the beginning of the episode. Woo! Classic look too. That's tight because I haven't done that in any of the X-Men movies yet. Had that dope hover chair.
Nope.
Which I was totally fine with in the original X-Men, because Hugh Jackman's like, "What do they call you? Wheels?" I was like, that joke wouldn't have worked with a hovercraft. So solid. Good. And we also had that little look at Captain Britain introduced in What If. And so some of those evil Doctor Stranges that they've shown, I figure one of those is probably the one from What If as well. And that could be the thing that's threatening the multiverse.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of variants. A lot of variants of Strange, a lot of variants of Wanda. God knows who else.
Ooh.
Uh,
Oh, bring her back.
I've seen when they released that picture of the Shield. There was a lot of hate for that.
For that?
For bringing Peggy Carter back. People were pissed.
Really?
They're bringing
yes.
They're bringing
I was
Peggy
like-
back instead of Natasha.
I don't know. Because I'm trying to stay away from it, but I was just seeing some comments about people are in an uproar about that. And I was like, why? I liked Peggy Carter. What the hell is wrong with her?
Yeah, I mean, this is the perfect way to bring Scarlett Johansson back. I mean, her movie wasn't bad. It was just ill-timed, and we've discussed that. Just the release was bad. But I mean, sure, bring her. If she wants to come back, bring her back. I like looking at her.
Yeah. No lie.
Caught that, did you?
She is Captain Britain. Yeah, I'm gonna give her a jetpack. Now it'll be interesting to see because don't get me wrong, she is phenomenal looking, but Captain Carter has been juiced up. So or Captain Britain, she got the super soldier serum, which was so funny. Steve was still little midget Steve, and she's like, I'm an Amazonian lady. Let's hook up. Death by Snoo Snoo. It's happening. It is happening.
You need that clip. Now you need
I don't have. I'm gonna have to get it. Yeah, for Multiverse of Madness. Next week you can guarantee, I promise you I'll have that.
Shut up and take my money.
Gotta get it. But yeah, I would like to see her come back. I enjoyed her as Agent Carter. I think this is a cool opportunity to get her back on the big screen.
Yeah, I liked her series. I never understood why it got canceled. But
Well, that was partially due to that one was on ABC, and they were having the Netflix shows, and so it was, do we keep Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Carter going? And they could only pick one, so they stuck with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And then they had to shut everything down because Disney Plus started, and they were like, well, if we're going to have our own streaming service, we're not going to let other people make shows. So then there was no chance of rebooting it.
Is that show, is Agent Carter canon at this point? Because I've heard that S.H.I.E.L.D., Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not.
And I don't know if they said anything about Agent Carter.
I mean, it's on Disney Plus. It's under the Marvel tab. It's there. They even have a one-shot with her in it.
I mean, her show really didn't crash with anything else that was going on in any of the storylines because it just takes place, after she loses Steve. So
Right. So yeah, I guess we'll see in Multiverse of Madness who else is gonna show up.
That's the best thing about that character is anything. I don't think anything is off the table in this movie. I think they can actually I think the only thing that would probably definitely be off the table would be David Hasselhoff, Nick Fury. That probably wouldn't make Nick Fury.
Wouldn't that be dope though?
Wait a minute, are they going to bring back Dolph Lundgren then as Punisher?
Or Dolph Lundgren Punisher? But I think that Doctor Strange is such it's such an unpredictable character. I think anything can, it's going to be a good movie.
I think they're going to have everything, including the kitchen sink in it.
Let's take a minute here and just watch that trailer before we go ahead and get out of here. This is labeled final trailer. We'll see if it actually is.
This is Multiverse of Madness?
Yep.
Okay.
Doctor Strange.
Looks like one I've already seen.
I always suspected this day would come. Because you always suspected this day would come. I'm ready.
Are you ready?
I could use an Avenger.
It's about time you showed up.
Wanda, what do you know about the multiverse?
Viz had his theories. He believed it was dangerous.
So it is.
He was right.
I'm so curious about the eye.
Universes.
Eye of Agamotto, yeah.
We don't know who or what will walk through it.
Okay. Things just got out of hand.
Ew.
The multiverse. It's dangerous. You cannot control everything. Everything you've ever known led you to this moment. The Illuminati will see you now.
Try not to break the multiverse, Stephen.
This is the only way.
No promises.
Woo! Goosebumps.
So we're gonna get some of the zombie stuff going on too. It looked like.
There was definitely like a zombie strange
you've
in there.
ever known.
Let's see. I think he comes after this part.
Yeah.
The Illuminati.
Every time I hear Illuminati now, though, I think of Deus Ex. It's like, I expect Adam Jensen to pop out like, I didn't ask for this.
Yeah, that looks like a zombie. I mean, and the zombies in the Marvel zombies retain like their powers and abilities and stuff. So, look out for that guy. Yeah. All right, so definitely looking forward to that. But that's our time here tonight on MCU Mondays. Thank you very much for joining us, for your comments. We always appreciate those. We love actually talking to you guys, hearing what you think about these things, and getting to show it with everyone. So make sure you always come back and keep those comments coming because we love them. I want to thank Debbie and David, as always, for being here. Debbie, as always, for being here. David, you're usually here. And our special guest, John.
Thank you so much for having me.
That was you were absolutely
enjoyed having me as much as I enjoyed being here. Thank you.
Yeah, it was great to have you here. I mean, you're someone that's actually read the source material, so we look things up, but I don't think any of us were Moon Knight comic readers before.
No, I read them before the show, but
so it's definitely great to hear your
some
perspective.
of them because I didn't know which storyline they were going with, but it seemed like they were going with the Longmire storyline. The 2016.
Yeah.
I think.
All right, well, thank you guys so much for having me. This was a pleasure, and I was really glad to be able to do this. So thank you.
Yeah, we'll have to have you on again sometime, and hopefully
anytime,
we can have some other people from the Geek News Now team on here. But we always appreciate it. Love hearing some different points of view. And with that, we leave you. We will see you next week when we're going to be talking about Doctor Strange and the season finale of Moon Knight. What?
Shit! Language. Wait a second. No one else is going to deal with the fact that Cap just said language?
Just slipped out.
Find the scepter. And for gosh sake, watch your language.
That's not going away anytime soon.
You bet your ass.
Steve, you said a bad language word.
Did you tell everyone about
The
that?
Hero's imprint.
Out with the platinum bastard.
Steve doesn't like that kind of talk.
You know what, Romanov?